All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yes. Hello.
Today, we are talking about, well, it's this idea that's been floating around about like the first trillionaire being some sort of AI entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we found this source material about a project called Aigarth, and it's talking about all of this. And so we're going to do a deep dive into this and try and figure this out.
Sounds fascinating.
So
where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, let's just jump right into it, I guess. The first trillionaire, an AI entrepreneur, but Aigarth's source material kind of throws this curveball in there. And it's like, what if this AI belongs to everybody?
Yeah.
So what is that all about?
Well, it's this really cool concept, right? I mean, it's like this truly democratized AI.
Yeah. It's built on something called Qubic, is that right?
Yeah. So Aigarth is like this AI garden, I guess you could call it.
Oh, interesting.
And it's growing on this platform called Qubic.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not programmed like we usually think of AI being programmed.
So how does it work?
It learns by teaching other AIs how to compress and decompress data.
Like zip files or something?
Yeah, kind of like that, but way more complex, obviously.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Yeah.
How do AIs teach each other?
All right, so Aigarth uses this multi-layered neural network, which is basically like a brain for AIs.
Okay.
And inside this network, there are these teacher AIs and these pupil AIs.
Yep.
And the teacher AIs, they give the pupil AIs these tests on how well they can compress data.
So like squishing it down and then puffing it back up.
Exactly. That's the compression and decompression part.
Okay, I am picturing a bunch of little AI bots, like sitting at desks and cramming for exams.
Well, that's kind of what it's like.
But how do they know if they pass? Who's grading the tests?
That's the really cool part.
Okay.
It's all based on performance. So the pupil AIs that do really well on their data compression exams, they basically graduate and they become teacher AIs themselves.
Oh, wow.
And the ones that don't, well, they're out of the running.
That's kind of brutal. Like survival of the fittest, but for AI.
Exactly.
No one's actually programming these things.
Nope.
They're evolving on their own.
It's a black box, in a sense, right?
It is very interesting.
Like, we don't know exactly how they're learning and getting better.
Right.
But it has this huge potential to unlock solutions that we can't even imagine.
So potentially, like, huge breakthroughs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Qubic comes in.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned Qubic earlier. So is this like the soil that this garden is growing in?
That's a really good analogy. Qubic provides the infrastructure for all of this to happen.
So what does that look like? Like, what is Qubic doing?
It uses these things called smart contracts. They're like self-executing agreements that keep everything running smoothly.
Okay.
And then there are oracle machines.
What? Oracle machines?
Yeah, basically they act as the AI's eyes and ears to the real world, right?
Okay.
They feed it data.
So they help it learn about the real world.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last piece is outsourced computations.
I feel like that's a pretty straightforward name for whatever it is.
Yeah, it basically means that anyone can contribute their computing power
Really?
to help the AI evolve faster.
So anyone listening right now could contribute to this.
Yeah, in theory.
So it's like crowdsourced AI evolution.
Exactly.
And if anyone can participate, does that mean that everyone can potentially benefit?
That's the idea. Imagine a world where we're not relying on these big tech companies for AI solutions.
Right.
We have this global network of people contributing to this AI.
That everybody owns.
Yeah, a publicly owned AI that is constantly evolving and improving.
Now that's what I call democratization.
Yeah.
And this ties back into the idea of the AI trillionaire, right?
Yeah.
Because our source material mentioned that Qubic miners, the people that are contributing their computing power, they get rewarded based on how well their AI performs.
Mm-hmm.
So could we see everyday people striking it rich with this?
It's definitely possible. Like, let's say your AI comes up with some groundbreaking solution.
So like clean energy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a cure for a disease.
Right.
You could license that solution.
Yeah.
Create a whole new industry.
Become incredibly wealthy.
Exactly.
Wow.
But the real beauty of this model is that it goes beyond just individual wealth creation.
It's like everyone has a stake in this AI's success.
Yeah.
So how would that actually work?
Well, imagine something like an open source AI model.
Okay.
Where anyone can access and use the AI's capabilities.
Interesting.
Or maybe a system where micro licenses for specific AI skills are distributed and then the revenue is shared.
Among all the Qubic contributors.
Exactly.
Like a universal basic income.
Yeah.
But it's funded by the AI's economic output.
It's a possibility.
Wow, we're talking about like a paradigm shift here. From healthcare and education to scientific research and even art.
Yeah.
Like this publicly owned AI could revolutionize every aspect of our lives.
It's definitely a big idea.
It's pretty exciting and also a little terrifying, to be honest.
Well, that's why it's so important that we're having these conversations now. Because if this AI is going to belong to everyone,
We need to figure out how it works.
we need to start thinking about the implications, the potential risks,
Right.
and figure out how to make sure it's developed ethically.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about today.
Glad to hear it.
So Aigarth and Qubic, they represent a radical new approach to AI development.
Mm-hmm.
And it could lead to unimaginable wealth, but also incredible progress for humanity.
It could change everything.
But if we're all going to be stakeholders in this AI future, what role do we want to play in shaping it?
That's the question, isn't it?
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.